So our goal today is to de-winterize our camper and sanitize the water system. So full disclosure, I'm no expert. This is my first time doing this. So feel free to let me know all the mistakes I make in the comments below. The first thing I'm going to do is get down there, which is where the water heater tank is, and make sure all the valves are turned in the right direction. Alright, so here is the hot water heater. And since this is winterized, I'm going to believe that the valves on the water heater are correct to bypass it. This is the Flagstaff E-Pro E20BHS model. I've watched some other videos for other models online, and they were a bit different, at least in terms of where this was located. And I believe this floor plan is a new model for the 2020 year. But there's one valve here on the bottom left that I believe is the valve to the antifreeze inlet that's on the outside of the trailer. But so I'm going to switch this one. I believe this one needs to be turned so that I start pulling water from the freshwater tank. So I turned that one. Next we'll fill up the water tank and start pulling water through. So one other quick thing I'm going to do before I start filling up the fresh water tank is just make sure all of the faucets, shower are all off. We don't want them to start pulling water right away when we turn the pump on. We actually want to make sure that the pump turns on and then starts to pump water and turns off, just to verify we don't have any leaks in any of the hoses. So one quick thing I had to do before we start filling up the tank is make sure that our fresh tank drain is closed. This was actually still open from being winterized, so I just pushed that in. And then my daughter's going to start filling up the tank here. So go ahead, Faith. So she's going to start doing this. I'm going to go on the inside, and we're going to put about half a tank of fresh water in. So I'm back on the inside. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on how full the tank is. So you can see that it says like 1/3 because we just started. I'm going to get that up to about 2/3. I don't want it completely full, but I want enough water in there that'll give us a chance to completely empty out the antifreeze. So I'll keep an eye on that. Once it's 2/3, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we're about 2/3 full on the tank now. I'm going to turn on the water pump so it starts pulling water from the tank. And I heard it kick on. I believe what we're looking for here is basically just waiting for it to shut off. So any air or gaps in the line should be getting filled right now. And as long as we don't have a leak somewhere, once the pressure's full, it should turn off. So just turned off already, so there wasn't much since there's still antifreeze in the lines. I'm just going to take a quick look under the camper right now, make sure I don't see any water or anything on the ground, but I don't expect to since the water pump turned off. Okay, so now we basically want to go through each faucet and shower and run the water till it's not pink anymore. I'm starting on the outside shower because that's the closest one to the water pump. So I'm going to do cold first. So, I don't know, that looks pretty clear to me already.
Maybe you need the cup.
We can do the cup water. Now we'll do the kitchen, which is the next closest one. So I'm going to do just the cold side. That looks pretty good. Then we'll do the shower next. That's looking pretty clean. That looks pretty good. And then the toilet. So halfway down, I believe, gives me water. And all the way down flushes it, I believe. So that looks pretty clean now. All right, now we need to repeat all that for the hot water. That looks good. Pretty good. And then the shower as well. So we finished all that, but we noticed that where our water filter goes, there's still antifreeze in there. So I'm going to take that off and dump it out and rinse it out, and then I think we will be good. So I made a bit of a mistake with the water filter. As soon as I started loosening it, the water pump kicked on, so I probably should have turned that water pump off first because I had a little bit of a mess, water spraying around, but I was able to turn that off, dry everything up. Clean out the water filter and put it back on. Next thing we're going to do is move on to sanitizing the water system. So we're basically going to repeat the process we just did, but we're going to put bleach and water mixture into the freshwater tank to run that through and get a bleach smell coming through each faucet. So we'll do that next. So for the bleach mixture, you use 1/4 a cup of bleach with a gallon of water for every 15 gallons for the size of your tank, and our tank is 39 gallons, so we're going to do 2 gallons of water and 1/2 cup of bleach mixture. So we're putting the bleach and water mixture into the freshwater tank. This was the best funnel we could find, so it's going to take a while. If you have any ideas how to speed this up, or if you have any other products that you use for this, let me know in the comments. So we have the bleach mixture in the fresh tank right now. We're just putting some more water in there now to fill it up a bit more before we start sucking it through the lines. I'm going to go up to about 2/3 again, and then we'll go around to each cold and hot water faucet and shower and toilet and pull the mixture through until we can smell bleach. So it looks like we're up to about 2/3. One thing I did want to mention here is you should definitely keep an eye on your black and gray water tanks just to make sure you're not overfilling them. Sometimes it might take a lot of water to clear these things out, and I've read online if you're not careful you potentially could overflow those, so just keep an eye on those as you go through these so you don't have a mess. Alright, so we're going to go back through each of the water things to get the bleach mixture through. Start with this one. So once you can smell the bleach smell, you know that you've got that mixture through, and these will be good. Now we'll do the kitchen. So now that we got the bleach mixture throughout all the pipes in the camper, you're supposed to wait at least 4 hours before you drain it all. So we'll wait, and then we'll kind of go through the same process again and flush it all out with fresh water. So it's been 4 hours, a little bit over. We just drained our freshwater tank, and now we're going to fill it back up with fresh water so that we can flush the bleach out of the lines. So we're almost full in our freshwater tank now. We're going to turn the water pump on and then cycle through each of the different showers and sink to get all of the bleach water out. With the shower outside, since that's the closest to the pump again. I'm not really smelling any bleach anymore. Now I'll do the hot water. That seems fine. Then we'll head inside. So kitchen sink. And the shower. I also go ahead and flush the toilet a few times. So at this point I still need to change the water filter or put the water filter in, so I got a bit more work to do, but to make sure I don't make that same mistake I did last time, I'm going to turn the water pump off before doing that. We also have a couple valves on the hot water heater we need to switch yet, so that the fresh water can start going in there and get warmed up. Just a reminder, make sure you keep an eye on your gray and black tanks as you're doing this. Mine are only a third full at this point. But you definitely don't want to run too much water through and have those overflow. Alright, so we got the water filter in, and now we're ready, since we've bled all the lines of the bleach water, we're ready to fill up our hot water heater tank. So I have the water pump off right now. I'm going to turn the red valve and the blue valve. The blue lets the cold water go into the heater, and the red's where it comes out, so it's not bypassed anymore. And then I'm going to open up one of the hot water sink valves and turn on the water pump. And I'm struggling. So they're both facing the water heater now. I'll turn the water pump on, and then that should start filling up the water heater. So Faith, you can go ahead and turn the water pump on. And since it's running, I know it's filling up with water. If it wasn't, then the water pump would turn off. So we'll let that fill up, and then we're ready. This is fully de-winterized, and we can use the water now. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Thanks.